Well, we got 12 in a row. There we go. There it is. And the Yankees have Garrett Cole going on Friday night, so that could be a good opportunity to run the streak to 13. Let's hear it for the Yanks. Really bad umpiring early in this one. Aaron Boone had a short night. He got ejected early on after arguing a Joey Gallo strikeout call that was about, I'd say, 6 inches outside. We had Kenny Singleton back in the booth tonight. I loved his little anecdotes. Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run early on, a booming 436 line drive bullet home run to center. And Ken Singleton tells the old story about how when you hit a home run like that and you get back to the bench, the guys will ask you, hey, did you get all of it? And he neglected to mention it this time, but he says, usually, did you see it come down? Yeah. Well, then I didn't get all of it. It's those old, great baseball stories that make Ken Singleton so much fun for me. James Caprillion was on the mound for the A's. He's got good stuff. Former Yankee, he was traded to the A's for Sonny Gray. Now, he didn't have a great outing, obviously, but he's got a good arm. He's going to have a good career. Brett Gardner went deep. Joey Gallo, my pick-to-click, hit a 3-run home run. Yankees jumped out to a 6-0 lead, but the balls appeared to be juiced for the first half of the game. Tyone was hit hard, and then the bullpen came in, did a nice job. Clay Holmes, Jonathan Loaizaga, after a run allowed by Albert Abreu. And then Aaron Judge comes through in the clutch in the top of the ninth to give the Yankees the lead, 7-6. They hang on, 300th save for Aroldis Chapman, who, let's face it, gives us all a heart attack when he comes into the game. He got 2 quick outs, then gave up a base hit to Starling Marte. And then Matt Olson comes in, and Matt Olson scares the hell out of me. He hits lefties better than he hits righties. He's got 32 home runs, and I just felt like that was not a great matchup for Aroldis Chapman, but he gets a chopper to second base, and the Yankees ended up winning the game. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I am exhausted, and so in about 5 seconds, you're going to hear me with a slightly different voice and a cup of coffee in my hand. All right, 3 sips into my cup of coffee, and I'm already ready for tonight's game, as the Yankees will go for 13 consecutive wins. There's an old saying in baseball that momentum is only as strong as your next day's starting pitcher. Now, the starting pitcher for last night, Jameson Taillon, had his worst outing in a while. He went 3 2/3 innings. He gave up 5 earned runs. He struck out 4, walked 3, which is more than he usually walks, and gave up a couple of home runs. Albert Abreu gave up a home run. Clay Holmes with a scoreless inning. Jonathan Loaizaga, 2 scoreless innings. He picked up his 9th win of the year. And then Aroldis Chapman, of course, got the save. But the offense bailed out the pitching tonight. 9 hits, 7 runs. Stanton hit his 23rd home run. Gardner hit his 6th home run. Gallo hit his 30th. A monster shot, 3-run shot. But the scoring was done for the Yankees from innings 4 through 8. And then Judge with the big hit in the 9th. So, look, it was a good game. It was another heart attack style game. Although it went a little bit easier for Aroldis Chapman in the 9th this time, as he picked up his 24th save of the year, 300th of the season. Sorry if I repeated myself. Can't really remember what I said at 1:30 in the morning. But back to that thing about momentum being as strong as your next day's starting pitcher. Yankees have about as good as you can have going tonight. Garrett Cole will be on the mound, going for his 13th win of the season. He's got a 2.92 ERA on the season. And that just makes you feel so much better about extending the win streak. That's what good pitching does for you. Then we got Nestor on Saturday. I feel good about Nestor, too. If the Yankees win tonight, they will have tied the Oakland A's for the longest win streak in the American League this year. The A's had 13 straight in April, and the Yankees are going for their 13th straight. If they win tomorrow, that's 14 straight. That's the best in the majors this year. And that's going to be fun. Yankees used a little bit more small ball last night to make that happen. Tyler Wade pinch ran for Anthony Rizzo, picked up a stolen base, ended up scoring a run on Judge's base hit. I tell you what, this team is coming together. They're finding ways to win. Remember earlier this year when they would find ways to lose. Remember that game against the Angels that ended at like 2 in the morning? Where they jumped up to a 7-0 lead against Shohei Ohtani and ended up flushing it down the toilet? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Gio Urshela picked up a base hit in his first game back. Andrew Velasquez had another double. It was a rocket off the right field wall. He continues to play well. He's hitting .250 with a .698 OPS. I'm not looking at the numbers, but that's roughly the same kind of numbers that Gleyber Torres has put up this year. Giancarlo Stanton stays hot. He hit an absolute bullet. It was 436 feet. It was a line drive to center field, and it hit off of that big flat wall that they have out there with the Holy Toledo sign. Absolute rocket. DJ LeMahieu, 0 for 5. His average down to .266. OPS down to .717. I can't believe we're talking about DJ LeMahieu struggling as much as he has. I think he might be playing himself back into a utility role next year. You might remember that when the Yankees signed him, they told him that he's going to start pretty much every day. But they also told him that he's probably not going to start on opening day, because the plan was for him to be a guy that comes in and gives guys a day off, a day of rest. And I think that might be what happens next year. Now, I don't know if the Yankees are going to sign a shortstop. Personally, I would not spend money on a shortstop. At one point, I thought, Kyle Seager would look great. Carlos Correa, despite the scandal, would be excellent. But now I kind of just want them to rush Anthony Volpe to the majors. Maybe not rush him, but to let him play his way into the majors. I don't care how old he is. He continues to play so well down in the minor leagues. I'd love to give him a shot. Either he or Oswald Peraza. I would much rather go with a younger guy than hand out another $200 million contract. Give some of that money to Judge, who's playing a little bit better. Maybe you don't have to sign him to $300 million, but he's hitting .287 with a .905 OPS. Had 2 more hits last night and a walk. I mean, I don't think you need to spend big on a shortstop. Even Andrew Velasquez can get you through until Volpe is ready to take over. Then you can move Gleyber Torres back to second base where he's comfortable and use DJ LeMahieu as your everyday rotating utility guy. A day at third, a day at second, a day at first. Pinch hit once in a while. I mean, if he's not going to hit .350, which he's not going to hit this year, and who knows if he's going to get better next year. I mean, he's a perfect utility guy. He's got incredible hands on defense. He makes contact. He's a good guy. Maybe he's playing himself back into that role. Everybody ages. It's nothing to be ashamed of. He's taken a step back this year. Other guy I wanted to talk about was Jonathan Loaizaga. What a night he had. 2 scoreless innings. ERA down to 2.23. He deserves a lot of credit for the Yankees' rise because he's been very consistent this year. He's had 1 or 2 blips. He had the game in Boston. But he's been so good. And I feel kind of bad for Luke Voit because he deserves to play more than he has this week. He was player of the week last week, and this week he's had, 3 at-bats in 4 or 5 days? That's a good way to cool somebody off. Last night he pinch hit and did not pick up a base hit. He's at .264 with a .793 OPS. Now, if he was able to stay a little bit healthier, maybe this doesn't happen. But, I like the pickup of Anthony Rizzo for defense anyway, but I think Luke Voit is destined to be your DH. The way that Giancarlo Stanton is playing now that he's playing in the outfield more. And granted, last night he was the DH, but I think with a month left, you got to throw caution to the wind and go for this championship, this division championship, this American League championship, maybe even the World Championship. And to do that, your best lineup has Stanton in right field, Judge in center field, and Gallo in left field with Voit at DH. I'm sorry, that's what the best lineup is. And someone told me last night to put some respect on Brett Gardner's name. Brett Gardner did hit a home run last night. He was 1 for 4. He's hitting .214, .663 OPS. He can still go and get it in center field. But let's be honest, when you get to the playoffs, I don't think that you're going to want to start Brett Gardner that often. You're going to want to go with that Death Star lineup, which we haven't really seen, even though it might be a bit right-handed. You know, if you go with the full Death Star lineup, you've only got 2 lefties. You've got Gallo in left field, and you've got Rizzo at first base. So maybe you go with that Death Star lineup against lefties in the postseason, and then against righties, maybe you play somebody else out there in center field, whether it's Brett Gardner or Tyler Wade, just to get that extra left-handed bat. I honestly think Tyler Wade is every bit as good a center fielder as either Brett Gardner or Aaron Judge. From everything I've seen, the guy can run and get them. He can just run down the ball. Not everybody can outrun the baseball. Tyler Wade definitely can. Problem with Tyler Wade has always been that he doesn't hit much, but he's hit better this year now that he's getting more bats. He's hitting .278 with a .698 OPS. That's the same OPS as Andrew Velasquez. Now, sure, these guys are role players, but having an extra lefty in your lineup, I mean, having a little speed in your lineup, it won't hurt you in the postseason. The Yankees have enough offense. We saw that last night. You've got a number of guys who can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Anyway, I'm feeling really good about this streak. I think it goes to 13 tonight with Gerrit Cole on the mound, and I'm feeling pretty good about Nestor Cortes on Saturday. Should mention that Corey Kluber returns Monday, so the rotation is only getting stronger. Luis Severino has been approved or cleared to resume his throwing program. I'm still doubtful we'll see him start this year. I think we will see him as a reliever, maybe in the final 10 games of the season. Could be one of those situations where you get a fresh arm throwing 100 miles an hour coming out of the bullpen as a secret weapon for the playoffs. How nice would that be? How great would that be to have an opener possibly of Luis Severino, who can work, 6 batters if need be. Then you go to Nestor Cortes for 5 innings. All of a sudden you got 7 innings of good pitching in a game 3 or a game 4. It's completely possible. I'm not saying they will do that, but it's an option. And we know the Yankees like to explore their options. The Davy Garcia and Jay Happ debacle last year, notwithstanding, that didn't work out. But, sometimes they overthink the room a little bit. But they do like to get creative based on the matchups. And I'm feeling so much better about the way this team is constructed now. Having Gallo out there, just the danger that he provides, and having Rizzo, who's not a strikeout machine. I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there. A strikeout machine. Last night he used the opposite field. He hit a double over the left fielder's head. And the Yankees are not beating up on chumps. They're beating up on teams that need to win. Sure, the White Sox didn't necessarily have to win because they've got a big division lead. But the Red Sox were playing to win. The Braves are playing to win. And the A's are definitely playing to win. And the Yankees have just cruised right past all these guys in a row. Now, cruised, that's maybe an easy way to say it. They've had some tight ball games, but you know what? They're coming out on top. Best record in baseball in 1- and 2-run games. Astounding. And I've had a number of people commenting on my videos from earlier this year where I said the Yankees needed to rebuild, they needed to retool, they needed to consider firing Boone or Cashman. And I have some thoughts on that. One, the Yankees did retool. They didn't wait till the offseason. They did it during the season. They called up Greg Allen. They called up Andrew Velasquez. They traded for Rizzo and Gallo. They made the adjustments they had to make on the fly. They started to turn it around offensively. That makes a big difference. I still am not a big fan of Marcus Thames. I'm just not. But the way that the team has turned it around, I think Aaron Boone has earned another year. I think Brian Cashman has definitely earned another year. Longest win streak in over 30 years. And for anybody who likes to go and pick fun or poke fun at any of those old videos and say, well, that aged well, unless you have the foresight to go out and put out a contradicting statement and make it public and to pour your thoughts out there and to come up on the other side of the coin, then you got no right now to criticize something that we were saying as people who follow this team a few months ago. Because you were shaking your head in agreement. You were saying, yeah, this team's screwed up right now. And so now you're coming out and saying, oh, well, this didn't age well. What do you know? Unless you got the balls to put it out there yourself, then I don't want to hear you attacking what myself and other creators saw as obvious a few months ago, which is that the Yankees were dead in the water, that team was not constructed properly. But kudos to Brian Cashman for righting the ship just in time. Another episode of Yankees Game Night tonight. Let me know what you guys thought of that. That was something that, I tried to spruce up the lineup and starting pitcher thing that we'd been doing before the game. A little bit of an intro, a little bit of a hot or not, a little bit of a farm report. That's something that I can do more often, but only if you guys want it. And I won't do it every single night, but I can probably do it most nights. So I think I might try and make that a more regular thing. Try and put my stamp on the pregame the way some other folks have put their stamps on the postgame. But thank you so much for tuning in. That's a dozen straight W's for the Yankees.